Welcome back, That 60s Wife. So a lot of feedback from the last show around respect and communication.
Right.
So what does respectful communication look like to your husband? How do you make sure that you are respectful in the way that you're talking to him?
So as a wife, I make sure, one, that my tone is in check. It doesn't matter what I'm saying if how I'm saying it is disrespectful. So I'm not going to come at my husband up here. Like, if I'm angry, just don't have that conversation while I'm angry. I'm also making sure that I'm careful of my words. Like, I think about my words before I say them. It's very easy, like when your emotions are high, to just start talking whatever's on your mind. And women, we have a lot on our mind. But really pausing, thinking like, how might this come off before you speak? Or just, like I said, waiting to have the conversation until you're in a space where you can relax while you're talking. Just kind of taking the emotion out of it. I think that's probably the main respectful tip for communicating with your husband.
Now, in the modern day, women feel like they should be able to just say whatever they want to say to their husbands and however they want to say it to their husband. And what would you say, just as feedback for women of that mindset currently?
I mean, I think that you should be able to express yourself and express your concerns and your needs, but there's just a way to go about it where it won't be a problem, or it won't cause problems, and it'll still keep future doors open for communication between the husband and wife. So if I just get into a habit of just talking any kind of way, just talking outside of my neck to my husband, now he views me as disrespectful. Now we have issues as far as, okay, he doesn't trust me to have a calm conversation with him, so he's not going to want to communicate things with me.
So what would you say then to a woman who has traveled into the negative space of got an attitude with her husband in the past, the communication wasn't very good, or he told her something and she went and told a best friend something. She broke the chains of good communication. Is there a way back from that? If so, how should she navigate that?
I think so. I think it starts with accountability and acknowledging you were wrong in something. You can't move forward and oh, I won't do that again, or oh, I only did this because, you can't justify why you did it and also apologize. So it's got to be one or the other. Why are you smiling? But yeah, taking accountability. So, hey, I realize now that saying things like this was wrong, or doing this was wrong. I don't want to do that again because, I respect you and whatnot. And I think it's just baby steps from there, actually putting that knowledge into action and doing it correctly as you go. And it may take time before he feels comfortable enough back to where he used to be.
Well, social media says that trad wives don't have a voice. They don't get to tell their husbands what they actually feel or think and all of that they're just, in handcuffs in the basement waiting on their husband's hand and feet and can only speak when spoken to. Just, it seems strange. I know you're laughing, but a lot of women kind of put that out there that is what trad wives are. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I think that with that connotation with trad wives and with being submissive, like, are hand in hand, like that the woman has no voice. I don't really know where that connotation comes from, but we live a trad marriage. I'm a trad wife. I'm submissive. I definitely have a voice, and you definitely respect my voice, and you listen to my voice. You consider my opinions and my views and my perspectives, but you still have the head, like the say-so, the final say-so. I'm comfortable in that. You're comfortable in that. I don't feel oppressed. I still feel like I'm being heard. So, I think it's just understanding how a woman should speak to her husband, and the husband understanding that, oh yes, I can consider what she's saying, and still feel confident that he can lead with the final say so.
Very good. And the last question that I have for you, and that made a lot of sense, so thank you for teaching me that too. The last question I have is around equality, even though the word has been kind of misused and misdefined. But I heard a woman say on social media not too long ago that her and her husband have equal say-so in the decision making. How do you respond to that?
Equality is not equality in like a marriage, like that the husband and wife should both have the same role and the same say so is not biblical. So, we go back to the garden. We just always go back to the garden with Adam and Eve. Adam got the instruction from God, gave it to his wife. Adam, do this. Adam, you have dominion to do this. The wife exclusively designed as a helper, as a helpmate. So this is the hierarchy. The role is already there. It's not this. It's not God made Adam and Eve to run the garden. That's not the design. So, I think a lot of women fall into that. Oh, I want to be equal. I'm equal. They view it as importance, not role. So just because I'm under you in the hierarchy doesn't mean that I'm less important than you. It just means I have a different role and function than you.
Okay, I know I said this was the last question, but I did have a bonus question if I could. That same woman said that, there can be two heads, there can be two leaders in the house, there can be two authorities in the house. She and her husband are both equal in that regard. What would you say to that?
I would say anything with two heads is probably a monster. But also, think about it in our current government. We don't have two presidents. We have a president and then we have a vice president.